When you were a kid, did you have any favorite sports that you used to play, and what's your favorite sport now?
Well, see, in my family, everybody played sports. My dad particularly was very athletic. My brother and sister who are younger, very athletic. I played all the sports, but I am definitely not the athletic one in the family, although I am a pretty good bowler. But I played, you know, softball when I was a kid, regular baseball because my family played that all the time. I played not soccer so much because when I was growing up, soccer wasn't, believe it or not, when I was growing up, you couldn't play soccer as a kid. That's relatively new. It's, you know, like my kids' generation. And let's see, in high school I did play basketball a little bit, but not so hot. I was a cheerleader, however, in high school, which is very athletic.
That's
you know?
athletic.
And so, what's my favorite sport? I would have to say, for adults, watching adults, it would probably be basketball and baseball. But baseball, you know, it's just as good if you listen to it on the radio.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
For kids, it's definitely soccer because that was my granddaughter who's just turned 6. She's a soccer, like she's a soccer mad person. She's on a team that has all boys and her, and she's definitely like the best player on the team. So, I like them. I like them all.
I'm wondering, are you a fan of any professional sports teams?
I am, and you are going to love the answer to this question. Well, I mean, I grew up with baseball. That was like big in our house, so I kind of always do sort of follow baseball. Although while I've been a college president, I've been like I haven't been able to do that. Although I do know the two teams that I pay attention to, the Phillies and the Twins in Minnesota, are both at the bottom. Phillies are like 31 games out or something like that. But my favorite professional team, bar none, right now is the Minnesota Lynx. Do you know who they are?
Oh, yeah.
Women's NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And they're phenomenal. They won the national championship, I think, 2 years in a row. This was not a very good year. At the end, they didn't quite make it, but they have, you know, just Maya Moore and Simone Augustus. Oh my God. They are incredible.
So what type of advice would you offer to a prospective student athlete here at DRIM?
Well, you know, one of the things that prospective students are very concerned about, and I know you must have been concerned about, is how you're going to afford your education. And sometimes when students think about coming to a place like Drew and they hear that you can't get athletic scholarships in D3, they kind of say, oh, can't do that. What advice I would give to them is to look at the other ways that we look at the whole person and look at the ways that we look at financial need and understand that even without athletic scholarships, there's a lot of ways to help fund a student's education, and excellent athletes who want to balance life shouldn't automatically reject D3 because it's quite the contrary. We can make it affordable. And I know that's not about the sport itself, but sometimes that's the barrier that really prevents students from looking at a place like Drew.
We as student athletes here at Drew, we like to get involved in a lot of community service outside of our sports. What do you think that says about our experience here at Drew?
Well, I mean, you know, we talked a little bit before about the whole person thing, but I think it's even more important than that. If you read the newspaper these days, and it's not just male athletes, it's women athletes too, they're not very good role models in their community. And it's actually, I would go so far as to say it's sort of a national crisis of a type about, you know, how kids are being, who are their heroes, who they look up to, what you have to protect your kids from seeing. And having students at Drew, athletes, be involved in community service gives them a perspective that is like an antidote to that kind of stuff that they're seeing in the media.
In your opinion, why do you think it's beneficial for students to become student athletes?
Oh my gosh, there's so many ways to answer that question. You know, your real life is not going to be focused on one thing. Your real life is going to be over time, you know, when you graduate and you go out into the world, it's going to be being able to keep balance, being able to be part of your community. If you decide to get married or have a partner and have kids, you're going to bring up those kids to be well-rounded people. So athletics is a way of achieving that balance. It's a way of expressing yourself that's different than the academics. But the thing is, at a D1 school or even a D2, depending on that, you can't do that. You can't achieve that balance like you can here at Drew or any D3 school where you can be the scholar, you can be the athlete. You have coaches who get it. You have professors who get it. They're committed to that too. You come to a game, right, and your professors are out there, the administrators are out there. Where else can you get that sort of everything is of a piece kind of feeling? It's just ideal to me, and you meet like great teammates and friends that you're gonna be close to for the rest of your life. So I unfortunately I couldn't have made the team, just saying. So just to be honest, full disclosure, I couldn't have made the team, even in a D3 school, but I didn't have that opportunity to, to experience that. But I've known a lot of athletes in my time as a president, and it's just an extraordinarily enriching part of their education.
President Baenninger, can we expect to see you at any games this year?
You absolutely will see me at some games this year, and hopefully both indoor and outdoor sports. The thing that is frustrating for me most as a president is I can't get to every event, and some of it has to do with the time of day or whether it's weekend and which games are at home, which are away, but I do my best to get there. But what I will tell you is that I am a fanatic at keeping track of Ranger sports on Twitter, on Facebook. I watch online. I look at the box scores. When the coaches get to know me, they'll be retweeting my kind of responses to what's happening on a particular game. And so there was a particular coach where I used to be that she was like my agent for making sure that the athletes knew that I was watching, that I was paying attention. So don't think that if I'm not there that I don't know what's happening.